Previously in LA. I reunite with the F40 NPCU. I almost lost my hat at Carlsbad Village, and I survived the LA traffic. We continued this mini-series of my SoCal trip from November of 2024, with the final 2 days being filled with surprise catches and locations that you do not want to miss. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it.
Day 3.
On this day, my friend and I planned to railfan at 4 locations. Those locations being Commerce Station, the double crossings at Santa Fe Springs, Fullerton Station, and San Bernardino Depot. A pretty good selection of spots if you ask me. We would also make the decision to stay at each location for about 2 hours, which would give us enough time to drive in between the locations and have lunch. So that would be the game plan for this day, as we made an early start to the first location of the day, Commerce Station. Upon arriving at Commerce Station, we would be getting idling locomotives and moving power sets. And after observing this switch and getting a slight glimpse of a war bonnet, what we could have seen, the first train of the day would be this slow-pacing BNSF intermodal train. Another BNSF intermodal train would pass the station, with a 25th anniversary unit in the consist, and along with a friendly crew. And the camera died because I forgot to charge it the night before. So for the rest of the time here, I filmed with my phone. An outbound Metrolink train would speed by the station with a friendly engineer. Another Metrolink train comes along, with the engineer giving us another horn show. And we would catch the first Pacific Surfliner train of the day, as my tripod almost fell over. On to location number 2, which is the double crossings of Norwalk Boulevard and Los Nitos Road in Santa Fe Springs. And upon arriving, I would get this front view of this BNSF intermodal train. After setting up properly, and my camera battery being juiced up, the first 2 trains here would be 2 inbound Metrolink trains. And the next 2 trains would be Pacific Surfliner trains. The second freight train here is this westbound BNSF intermodal train. Another BNSF intermodal train would pass the crossings, along with a friendly crew. Following the intermodal, another horn show will be given from this Metrolink train. A few minutes later, another BNSF intermodal train shows up with the usual power. I swear I've seen too many intermodal trains. Norfolk Southern 8167 would lead this eastbound intermodal train. After that intermodal train, and probably witnessing the drivers yell in extreme pain while waiting for those 2 trains, the final train here would be this... Wait, where is it? Welp, looks like I forgot to record this train. Oh well, at least there was nothing special on this train. Right? Yeah, there was nothing special on this train, just this charger, I guess. Well, that was it for Santa Fe Springs as we would make our way to the third spot of the day.
The timing couldn't get any worse.
This wouldn't be a Fullerton experience without missing a train the second I arrive. The first actual train here would be the Pacific Surfliner train, led by F40 NPCU 9225. After seeing another Surfliner train, and this inbound Metrolink train with an NP36 trailing behind, there wouldn't be another train for about an hour until this BNSF intermodal train came out of nowhere with this same consist that I saw at Comrinks Station. And the final train here would be this northbound Pacific Surfliner train.
If you're in business class is to the rear of the train.
Yeah, not a lot of action here at Fullerton. I was kind of disappointed because everyone seems to portray this station as the foam capital of Southern California because of its high volume of traffic along the line. But no, only caught a few freight trains here and there, and that's it. Oh well, maybe next time. Then, we left the station for a very late lunch and drove all the way to San Bernardino Depot to wrap up the day. And upon arriving, this Metrolink train would be departing the station. The action at the intermodal facility would cure my boredom until this MP36 locomotive would pull into the station. The next train here would be this westbound intermodal train with a KCS Givo in the consist. Later, another inbound Metrolink train pulls into the station. Now at this point, I remember that a couple of rail fans from Fullerton were talking about that day's Southwest Chief, which would have a Phase 7 P-42 leader. Sure, I thought this couldn't be real, but after checking the Fullerton rail cam, the word was true. And now I was for sure that I would not be leaving this depot until I caught this train, because I'm a foamer. But I would have to wait for about an hour for the Southwest Chief, and it was running about 30 minutes late, which wasn't convenient, but oh well. But that hour would quickly pass by as I caught another westbound intermodal train, giving me a nice horn show. And eventually, Amtrak 176 would pull train 4 into the station. That would conclude day 3, but there was one more day of this SoCal trip. Will it be any better? This was the whole purpose of coming to San Bernardino, visiting the crash site of Southern Pacific 7551 East. Now, I'm not going to explain all the details of this derailment because there are already a ton of videos explaining this derailment, and I don't want to make this video too long. I mean, this video is probably going to be long, but to not waste time, I'm going to link some documentaries in the description so you can get full detailed videos about this derailment. Although we caught one UP train here, it was still hard to imagine that I was standing on the ground of a deadly train derailment from 35 years ago. And now it's just your average neighborhood with happy families and sprawling nature. Who knew that such a peaceful place could hold a dark past? We would leave Duffy Street speechless as we headed back to LA to explore the city a little more, before heading out to our hotel in Santa Monica. But before that, I decided to quickly check out Union Station just to see what was happening there. There was totally nothing special here, right? Yep, I was in absolute shock that Amtrak 160, the Pepsi can locomotive, was here in LA Union Station. And this really made my evening because I was not expecting this locomotive to be here in the area, making this the final gem to this trip. So I hang around the locomotive while getting pictures and videos of the loco, while catching some Metrolink and Surfliner action. And the consist of Southwest Chief Train 4 backing up to load its passengers. As I moved platforms, I made the decision to wait for trains for departure to Chicago, which was around 5:20 p.m. So we waited for 5:20 as I caught more Metrolink and Surfliner action. Finally, Train 4 would depart LA Union Station on time, bound for its destination, Chicago, Illinois. Day 4 would be over as we drove to Santa Monica to stay the night there before leaving SoCal the next morning. And so, after a morning walk down the Santa Monica Pier, it was time for the SoCal trip to come to an end. And it was time to head home. So we drove the 7 agonizing hours through the Central Valley, eventually arriving at home in San Francisco. This was another amazing trip. I had a lot of expectations when coming to SoCal, and some of those expectations were made, and others that didn't. Fullerton. I went to many iconic locations that I always wanted to visit, and caught lots of trains that I always wanted to catch. And looking back, I can say that this trip is a solid 10 out of 10. Now, I can confidently say that I have been to every major area in California. Again, the runaway train documentaries will be linked in the description below, if you want to get a more detailed explanation about the SP 7551 East derailment. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this 2-part mini-series of my SoCal trip. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon out there on the rails of the Bay.